is all right and everybody is safe. If you are here with me under the sound of this voice, welcome to the Progressive Soapbox. I am your host, Jamarl Thomas. This video is going to be relatively short, but before I start this video, I had a Streamlabs from the previous video that went unread, and I am going to read every last Streamlab that I get in every super chat that's not necessarily offensive. Biden's time poorly. Biden his time poorly. The only outcome of Joe Biden entering the race is that it'll make Kamala Mushin 2020 even that much more irrelevant and give Tom Perez one more reason to screw Bernie. I'm so ready for this three-way. Oh God, that's gross, that's gross, that's gross. The only outcome of the Joe Biden entering the race is that it'll make Kamala Harris Mushin 2020 become even more irrelevant and give Tom Perez one more reason to screw Bernie. I am so ready for this three-way. There was another one, Krillin 876. I heard there's a DNC candidate pledge for no negs. Oh, them not going negative. It seems that way, right? Every time something comes up where there's some level of some contention, there seems to be the candidates seem to dive. They seem to go away. They seem to have made a conscious effort to try to avoid, you could say, conduct that you would think would be something that will happen in a primary. I mean, after all, my goal is to separate the wheat from the chaff. I want to show how I am distinct from you. Now, I suppose that they can do this by not necessarily going negative, but I would imagine at some point you'd have to, it becomes this thing of what does it mean to go negative, and has it been enumerated? What does it mean to go negative? And what's negative for one person, like Bernie Sanders hitting Hillary Clinton on this thing of the money that she was taking, or taking those money for the speeches, is that negative? It was accurate. It's true. But I don't know. It's possible. So the story I want to talk about today is relatively short, and I thought it was interesting, and I thought it was funny, which is why I'm bringing it up. Let me ask you this: do you think Donald Trump donates to politicians because Donald Trump is looking for the best of America, meaning I am giving this money because I want some effect to take place in the larger objective world of this country, and I want my campaign donations to help the party that's going to bring about those changes? Now, do you believe Donald Trump is doing that because he wants best for the world, or that he just wants what's best for Donald Trump? Do you remember when Donald Trump said this? Let's see. Let's flip here.
So here's what happens. A couple of the commentators, I won't mention their names, but the Hillary Clinton people said, oh, yes, we'd love to run against Donald Trump. Now, I called a couple of them. I said, folks, the reason they say that is that they don't want to run against me, okay? They don't want to. The last thing she wants to be doing, and Bill wants to be doing, is running against Trump. They would love to have somebody else who's a little more mild-mannered, who won't bring up the truth, okay? I just tell the truth. They would like to have, okay? The last, believe me, and I know Clinton. Hey, I've been friendly. When I was a business, they had, can you believe I say when I was a business, my whole life I've been a businessman. Now I'm saying can I say that I'm still a businessman, but I'm running for office? Because I hate to say I'm a politician. Oh, these politicians are so bad. All talk, no action. That's these politicians. Nothing ever gets done. You're not going to make it. I'm telling you, you're not going to make it if you put some politician in there, and I know them all. It's interesting. I was looking at the ones I'm running against. I've contributed to most of them. Do you believe it? I've contributed to most of them. And one of them said, no, I don't think you've contributed to me. They found out I did. I contribute to I've given to Democrats. I've given to Hillary. I've given to everybody. Because that was my job. I got to give to them. Because when I want something, I get it. When I call, they kiss my ass. Okay? It's true. They kiss my ass.
He said, I gave to Democrats, I've given to Hillary, I've given to everybody. He said, when I call, I get it. Meaning, I'm giving this money because I expect something in return for the money to which I give you. This is one of those things of, I expect some favor in your capacity of whatever governance you're going to be. Meaning, if you're in a particular position, when I call you because I need something that helps with my business, you're going to pick up the phone. And he goes further to say, they're going to kiss my ass. They kiss my ass. But understand why he's saying this. It's because I give them money. When I give them money, that money allows access. It's not so much that I can get them to do any and everything that I tell them to do. It's more so that many things that are necessarily out of the public spotlight, when nobody's paying attention, around the edges, there's certain things that you can get done. And money greases the wheels. And at the very least, it allows you to be in the room or have the phone number of the person who you're giving the money to. What Donald Trump is saying here is quid pro quo. Now, this is not shocking. I mean, to some degree, lefties, this is the way we look at the political space anyway, that all of it is quid pro quo. That they're bending and leaning in particular ways because of class issues or because they're financed to do that. Meaning they lean into the way that cash is kind of giving them the go on it. Take a look at this. Many of the Democrats that are running in the presidential election were some of the people who Donald Trump says kisses his ass. That when he needs something, they pick up the phone. Many of these people who decry Donald Trump as being the worst thing on the planet, tantamount to a mini Hitler of sorts. This ripping apart democracy, just taking a dump on the Constitution, killing babies, or kicking babies, I should say. Killing babies is a little gross. Kicking babies and ripping the heads off of puppies. This is getting dark real fast. But you get my point. They try to act like Donald Trump is apocalypse, the walking apocalypse in and of itself, the end of times, the catastrophe that will destroy this nation. Not to mention, this doesn't even get to the part of the sexual relationship that they insinuate between him and Vladimir Putin. But that's now. Go back a few years ago, and Donald Trump was lining their pockets with dollars. Because, like he says here, let's hear him again. Don't take my word for it, take Trump's.
I've contributed to most of them. And one of them said, no, I don't think you've contributed to me. They found out I did. I contribute to I've given to Democrats. I've given to Hillary. I've given to everybody. Because that was my job. I got to give to them. Because when I want something, I get it. When I call, they kiss my ass. Okay? It's true.
Donald Trump is also getting across something else. This kind of principle of capitalism. And it makes all the sense in the world, right? You're within the context of a game space, meaning there's a real reality, but there's also these agreements that we take on. We call these agreements government, money, all sorts of things that we agree with. But in this capacity, you have also an economic system that is intertwined and is running parallel in some degree with the democratic process. Now, these things are in competition with one another, if you haven't noticed. But in being in competition with one another, Trump, in his capacity of a businessman within the capitalistic system, says there are certain things that I need. They're favors that I need granted. Because a business is just a legal entity. It's, again, an agreement that we take on. And this legal entity needs certain things in order to be profitable. And not just need certain things. Some of these things are just favors. And some of these things, if it wasn't for me greasing the pockets of people in the political process, maybe I don't get these things done. I am giving money to grease the wheels. And it makes all the sense in the world that a capitalist, once he gets to the edge of the river, builds a boat. Like, what Donald Trump is saying here is, yeah, I do my thing as a businessman, but it is my job to curry favor with the politicians. It is my job to make sure that when I need something, I can get it. And I do that through bribery. It's so bizarre. Because in a weird way, Trump is being honest here. And it's an honesty that all of us knows. So who gave money? Who got money? Who got money? Who got cash? Who was Donald Trump bought and greased the wheels Awkward. How Trump's past donations could haunt 2020 Democrats. Kamala Harris received money from Donald Trump as recently as 6 years ago. Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner hosted a Park Avenue fundraiser for Cory Booker. Christian Gillibrand took in Trump family donations 3 times across a 7-year period, and then gave a similar amount of money to a nonprofit years later as President mocked her in a tweet. So essentially, they took his money. They had no issue taking his money. Donald Trump is supposed to be the worst thing on the planet, but they took the money of the worst thing on the planet, and they knew full well what Donald Trump expected for that money. Giving it up now, when you're running against him, is a little too late. Harris, Booker, Gillibrand, along with Joe Biden, John Kerry, Terry McAuliffe, all share a common bond of receiving Trump family donations, adding another wrinkle into the crowded primary where candidates are expected to trumpet their distance from the president. Many of Donald Trump's donations fall in 2 categories: contribution to local polls and officials with whom he wanted to curry favor, or one-offs to prominent players in the national stage. Think about what this political article is literally talking about: money for political favors. That should be mind-blowing, but it's not, because everybody, to some degree, already accepts the secret that everybody knows. But he's straight outside of usual New York and New Jersey turf to give Harris 2 donations totaling $6,000 in 2011 and 2013, when she was already considering a rising Democratic star for Attorney General in California. Those were 2 of several contributions he made to state attorneys who were investigating or had previously investigated Trump University. Harris also landed $2,000 from Ivanka Trump for a re-election campaign and another $2,000 for future Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin, that's Baltazar's guy, when she ran for Senate in 2016. Trump historians who have studied his family and real estate career said he learned his political worldview from his father, and in New York City industry, where greasing politicians for favorable zoning exemptions and tax abatements was par for the course. It was just understood that this was the way business was done. This was completely irrespective of anything to do with principles, political perspectives, said Gwenda Blair, a Columbia University journalism professor who wrote The Trumps 3 Generations That Built an Empire. It was about levers of power, period. This has not changed. This has never changed. You can imagine that the people don't want to comment on it, so, they asked. Didn't get many people commenting. Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner, now top advisors to the president, each sent Booker $10,400 in 2013. They bundled $41,000 and hosted fundraisers for a Senate campaign that year. Wow, that's amazing. Kushner hails from prominent New Jersey Democratic family. His brother Joshua made identical donations to Booker. Joshua Kushner also given to Beto O'Rourke, Seth Moulton, who are both considering runs to the White House. Harris isn't the only candidate to rid herself of Trump's money, essentially giving up the money. But, at that point, it's, I'm running in a race, this money looks bad, and so now I'm going to give the money away. Too little, too late. Gillibrand did that also. In one striking example, Trump made equal $2,000 donations to Kerry and Bush just 8 days apart in June 2003. He's a person who believes in nothing more than he believes in transactions, said Michael D'Antonio, author of the 2015 biography Never Enough. So this was his down payment, and he didn't care who won. Either way, he was going to win because he was going to back the winner. And he's not alone in that, I don't think. Meaning, this is politics. This is how politics is played. This political article, even though it may not necessarily have tried to do this, Donald Trump is not atypical of this. Donald Trump is not special in this. Donald Trump is a businessman, and like other businessmen, seeks to curry favor with political parties that may have some influence over the business of him making profits. So he greased the wheels. He greased the palms. At the very least, it gets him a foot in the door. At the very least, it gets him a phone call back. Or at the very least, they pick up the phone when he calls. Donald Trump outing many of the Democrats. Well, many of the Democrats are going to be outed. Many of those Democrats are going to be outed. Trudy, is this live but not live? No, Trudy, it's live. I'm here. Kashwari Kate live, but live, Trudy. No, it's live. It's live. It just seems weird because nobody is here. Yeah, it is a little strange. It's eerie. But that said, it is 11:25 at night, and I am going through the videos rather quickly. The last video had 100 people here, Trudy, so people are coming in and out. Yes, he's the slimiest of the sludgy swamp muck. Yuck. Moni G, I'm going to end it on that because I don't think anybody could have put that better. I love that. I love that. Let me check Streamlabs because Baltazar gets crossed at me when I don't check Streamlabs. All right, guys. You all have a good one. I may have some tonight. There were several stories I wanted to get to dealing with Ocasio-Cortez. I have to be up at 3 a.m. in the morning, so I may turn in, but I do want to get these out because I'm probably not going to get these done tomorrow. But either way, if I don't see you tonight, you guys have a good one. Thanks all.